You are as impressive as ever.
Nemesis Enforcer, take him away.
Coming up on Crossfire Collectibles, the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 140, Hasbro exclusive, Nemesis Immortal. Stick around. What's up and welcome to Crossfire Collectibles. Today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 140, the Hasbro Pulse Exclusive, Nemesis Immortal. So finally, after months of teasing and hinting and all that good stuff, towards the end of last month in October, they finally put him up for sale and he shipped out. He shipped by DHL, which is really a kind of a low blow. Hasbro, if you're listening, go back to FedEx. But anyway, he shipped, he came, he's here, and cool. So let's go ahead and look over this box here. So excuse the glare, got a lot of lights on. There you see the figure inside. It'll look better once he's out. Very cool packaging. I like what they did here. Very Cobra La-ish. You got, you know, these big giant living tree things and all that other good stuff around it. It looks great. Up in the corner, Cobra, Nemesis Immortal, Cobra symbol, G.I. Joe Classified Series. Inside you see Nemesis Immortal. I still always call him Enforcer. Just you know, it's nostalgic as a kid. He was always Nemesis Enforcer. There's this couple of blades there, wings, the snake tentacle things, extra pair of hands, extra head. Off to the side, you have a really cool artist render. On the other side, you have a couple of stats here. It's kind of in a like a lime green, so it's a little hard to see, but you can check them out there. Again, little artist render, 140. There's a QR code if you'd like to scan it. Around to the back, you have a really nice figure art picture here. You got Cobra La down there. Nice little teasers in the back. You have that giant clam with Cobra Commander inside of it. Looks like a Cobra statue over here. Nemesis flying with the wings out. You know, those blades in his hand. Stats again. Cobra Nemesis Immortal 140. Some close-up shots here. Here's that like helmeted type of head. The tentacle backpack and his toes with a couple of claws on it. At the top, Cobra 140. At the bottom, UPC. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop this puppy open. But first, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, so the wait is over. He is in hand and we are ready to check him out. And I am super excited about this one. Been waiting on it for a while. Due to the size of the packaging and our little smaller space, we'll go ahead and just kind of keep it to a minimum here. We got some crap. And let's go ahead and pop these out. We'll bring out the backdrop first, which is also different. I guess, yeah, Cobra La. Got that nice several tones of red, pink, magenta. There's that little tentacle backpack, which has a couple of these bands on it, so we'll go ahead and pop those. Alright, and with that out the way, we'll go ahead and show this off first since we have it. This kind of looks like the back of an insect in a way. Paint looks pretty good. Has kind of a purple tone to it. And here's these, like, I guess you want to say tentacles. They almost look like something that would go on a squid maybe, except they have these like suction cups on it. Pretty cool. They are flexible, so you can move them about, which is pretty nice. I don't see any eyes on them. For some reason, I thought they could have been snakes, but they're not. Peg on the back to plug into the back of the figure. And, okay, we'll get that out of the way and set that off to the side. Now we'll take a look at Nemesis in his plastic dungeon. And he looks cool, man. Pretty big. I have some thoughts on some of the parts they used, but we'll find that out with the comparisons. So I guess let's go ahead and start going over his accessories here. So we'll pop these out one by one. All right, so accessories out. Let's go ahead and check out the extra pair of hands first. As you can see on the figure here, he also has these kind of open, almost trigger fingered hands. But we're going to check out these clenched fist hands first. You have that dark purple. I like the spikes coming off the knuckles. Pretty cool. Look wild. And pretty big, pretty hefty. There's some hinge pegs at the wrist. Allow these to go up and down each. So very nice. Moving over to check out his blades. So he has a dual pair of these Cobra La. I don't know what these are. Maybe they're some sort of bone. And you know, they have like some type of vertebrae or muscle meat, something running up in the middle. Kind of bloody looking. And then you have this little hooked handle down here, probably like the claw or something of one of those Cobra La insects. But regardless, they're pretty neat. They're identical, so you can dual wield one in each. Very cool. Next, we have his extra head. And this was kind of a new take. So you have these, I don't know, I guess this bony, almost mohawk going along the top of his head down to the back. These areas around his eyebrow and cheeks, which look pretty cool. He still has the purple, you know, kind of hood going over his head. I like how he's got that piece there going over the bridge of his nose. Pretty wild. Those eyes, man, they're pretty sick looking. You see a lot of detail in the face, you know, all around the wrinkles and everything, the lips, even I guess around the eyelids. And then the eyes, you know, they're just kind of popped out and glowing, almost as if he went from Enforcer mode, which is I would call this head, to Immortal mode. So he shut down all instincts and everything together, and now he's just straight evil and unstoppable. So awesome. You see at the bottom of the head here, there's the socket for the ball joint. It looks kind of hollow, but I don't mind. It looks good. It's got some good weight to it. And now, let's get this figure out. So if you look at the back, he does have this purple twine that he's held in with. So we'll go ahead and cut that and pop the figure out. Alright, so figure's out, and as well as the wings. So we'll just kind of stand him up first, and then we'll go over him at the end. He's a little top heavy, it's okay, I'll toy with him. But I want to check out these wings first. These are very different. You know, you have definitely the bat type of wings here, but almost on like some insect arms. You know, you can see that's definitely like insectish here. And then you have some fur up top, you know, that would be more of the mammal style. There's a little bit on the back here, and then the shoulders. You got the peg for his back here, and there's the hinge, so you can allow one to come up. There's also another hinge here, so you can turn that up and down. A little bit of rotation up here, so you can do some pretty wild stuff with this. We'll toy around more with it once we have them on, but go ahead and look at some of the detail in that bat wing. It's got a little rip right here, which is pretty nice. A little translucent, so you know you can see my hand behind it pretty much. So I like that a lot. That looks really good. So very cool. And now let's go ahead and bring the figure in, and I'll toy with him a bit and see how he can stand. I'm sure he's going to be a little back heavy, you know, with whichever pack we put on him. And then, yeah, of course, we're going with the wings. But let's look at him up close. We'll check out the Enforcer head here. So much different than the Immortal head. You know, he actually has his all his eyes intact. You know, the pupils and all that good stuff. There is none of this bony armor. So just a classic hood like we're used to. You can see here around the neck and the collar. That's new. That's definitely like insect looking. He's got that pretty nice Cobra armor on him. Cobra La armor, I should say. The fur on the shoulders, you know, kind of an homage to, you know, the old school. Had that little white band around his arm, a little studded band. And then you got the belt here. Different than the OG, but it still looks good. One of the new additions is these two sheaths on each side of his thigh. So you can hold these crazy Cobra La blades on it. He's got that thigh armor. It's definitely insect. All the armor on is totally insect, you can tell. He looks great. A lot of colors used. dark purple, regular purple, this maroon, some silver. Pretty nice. Check out the toes. It's got them 2 claws coming off each on the front. And then the back, you got those elbow blades or forearm blades, whichever you want to call them, right under his elbow. They're pretty nice. I think it would be cool if they made them like extend somehow up in the forearm itself. You could slide them down and then pull them out, you know, so they're retractable, just like they were in G.I. Joe the movie. But let's go ahead and check out his articulation. Big boy though, he's definitely got some weight to him. So that head is on a ball joint. Head can go forward that far, back that far. So if you want to have him kind of in a flight pose, damn, head popped right off. So you can't look up that well, but it does, you know, move up and down. A little bit of left and right here. You can rotate full 360. There is a bit of neck mobility. Over at the arms, you can see that the little fur shoulder pads here are connected right underneath of that hinge. So that'll allow the arm to move up about that far. They are on butterfly joints, and they can rotate a full 360. Bicep rotation. All right, it's got double jointed elbows here. Man, this one's tight. There we go. Pop that back into place. He's got forearm rotation, and the hands are on the hinge peg. They can rotate a full 360 and pop them out. They can angle down and up. So if we want to take that, put that down, bring in one of these fist hands, plug that right on in. There we go. All right, at the torso, he's got some upper torso movement, you know, back and forth. Waist swivel. You see the torso, upper torso can also swivel a bit. Down at the legs, up at the thigh. A tiny bit of drop leg, not too much. He may have some thigh rotation. Let's see. Yes, he does. Very tight figure, very stiff. So these little thigh sheaths here, they're not fully attached, so you probably could remove them, you know, totally. I'm gonna leave mine on for now, but maybe at a later date, you know, for some kind of change of pose that I have them on my shelf, I'll take them off. But they're pretty cool for now. He's got double jointed knees. These are also pinless as well as his arms. I don't know if I mentioned that. No calf rotation like the normal Joes have. And then you got the hinge down at the ankle to allow the foot to go that far forward, that far up. This thing is really tight, man. And he's got side-to-side pivot. All right, so get that hand to the side. Let me see how well we can get him to stand in kind of a decent pose. Probably gotta crack this arm some. I'll pull it a little bit, something like that. And I'll just have him in a regular straight-up pose for now. But I want to go ahead and bring these swords in, see which way we're going to put them. I'll slide one in right here, and then go all the way down. So that's nice. I think for, I guess, my figure, yeah, we'll leave one in, and we'll give him one in the other hand, since I have one of each hand on. So we'll go ahead and get this one, and slap that on into that grip right there. Something like that. But I definitely think I'm not going to use, you know, those swords when I'm ready for them. But they're alright, I guess. Now, if you want to take that more tentacle style backpack, let's better straighten these out first. We'll see how it looks on his back, although I don't plan on using them for that. But just plug that on in, and there we go. Now, what I've seen some people who already had this in hand, what they're doing is they're taking this and they're simply wrapping it around one of their classified figures. So here, I'm going to bring in the Night Force Falcon, for example, and I'm going to go ahead and make him lose his backpack and kind of plug this into him right up here, and it'll just be like on him, just wrapping himself up, you know. Got him in a nice grip. It's like, oh, let me get that weapon out of your hand right here. And that one's going to come over. You know, it's like it's taking it out. And these ones are going to be pulling his arms back. You know, so he's all tangled up and Oh, what's going on? Pretty neat. I'll stand the Falcon off to the side. And we're going to go ahead and lose this little sword for a moment. And we're going to bring out the wings. So we'll line that up with the peg. Pop them in. And it's a little back heavy, but you know, he's standing. So that's a plus. I think he should definitely have some pegs in his feet, so we'll go ahead and break them out. But I want to go ahead and get these wings kind of a decent pose. They're a little difficult to move around. I mean, if you got them in a full spread, you know, they extend out pretty far. It looks about, from point to point, I think the bottom ones are probably the widest. Maybe about 13 inches, maybe 14 inches. So he's got a good wingspan here. Pull him back down and just do something like this with him. I think that's how I'm going to have to display him on the shelf, you know, because he's not going to be in mid-flight. I'm going to have him standing there probably behind a couple people. But that looks great. So let's try the other head. And I'll go ahead and pop this one on. So, cool, man. That really makes him more fierce looking, I think. That really looks good. I gotta say, I do like it a lot. It might be something that we would use the swords for if we did go to the immortal look. So if we pop them back in, you know, and had him in some crazy pose, you know, coming at you. I don't know if he's gonna have these down, up, forward, whatever he's gonna do, but I think that would be, you know, more convenient for this head, in my opinion. But I'm gonna get that out of here. Take out other head, which actually wasn't even snapped on all the way, and pop that one back on. And let's go ahead and get him into a decent pose and give you a full shot. All right, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and bring out a few comparisons. Not too many, just a couple. So you saw Falcon already, but this is a more of a proper size comparison, and this is Road Pig. So he's pretty close to the height of Nemesis. I think Nemesis, if he were standing straight up, he'd have just a little bit of a height advantage on him. I thought they were pretty much all the same, you know, reused arms, but I guess not. Road Pigs look a little more chunkier. So Nemesis are definitely his own. They're not Road Pig reuse, which I thought they were, but that's good to know. And for some nostalgic purposes, here he is with the G.I. Joe 25th anniversary Nemesis Immortal figure. Alright, so there was some comparisons. Now we're going to go ahead and throw Nemesis Immortal up onto the turntable, and we will give you some final thoughts.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Be sure to check out our previous videos. A link will always be pinned in the comments.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Alright, so here you have it. The G.I. Joe Classified Series, number 140, Hasbro Pulse Exclusive Nemesis Immortal figure. I've got to say, this figure looks absolutely amazing. The details on him are just, they really pop. I mean, there's so much new additions to that armor that they give him. It really stands out. I like how they went more Cobra La with him, especially with that more insect-style armor that they gave him, as opposed to just, you know, kind of a purple suit with maybe an upper torso vest almost that he had on, maybe a little bit of armor. The wings are okay. I don't think they're the best. I do think they're a little skimpy. I like the design of them, you know, especially with the, you know, insect, mammal, whatever they are. They're crazy creepy looking. I'm going to toy around and experiment. I did see some Mythic Legion wings that might work on this a little bit better. They're more wider, more bat-like, and I just think they're bigger for them, and they look probably a lot better. They went the route of the Skybound comics, which is cool, and I really am digging that story. So I like that they brought that figure here, or, you know, vice versa, whatever they did. But I like the story. I like the way they're going. I think it's great. So kudos to them, and just keep them coming. This extra head down here, let me lift it up because we kind of have a limited space here. But the armored up, you know, head that they have here, this I want to call it the Immortal head, because that's just wild, you know, giving him that extra bone armor coming off of it, you know, around the skull itself. Those kind of flared up eyes, you know, Really wild looking. Extra pair of hands is great. The two Cobra La-ish swords, I'm not really feeling. As well as, you know, the sheaths. So I'm probably going to end up taking these off and ditching the swords totally and putting some new wings on him, keeping this head to keep him, you know, Nemesis Enforcer, and just see how he comes. But, you know, overall, that's really cool. As you can see, I'm just going to use this piece on one of my figures. I'm not sure I'm going to use the Falcon, but I'm going to have that off to the side. I'm not even going to include it with this figure. But that's a nice little, you know, addition that you can wrap up one of your Joes in if you want to have him standing there. You know, maybe I'll get an extra Cobra Commander or something, have him, like, holding him up, wrapped in this. You know, I think that would look pretty neat. We just need to come up with some type of stand that will be able to give him the stability he needs to be able to do that. I do have some extra Hasbro stands, you know, the dynamic ones, to where we could put something around his waist and actually have him, you know, midair, almost like if he was in flight or something. And I think that might work, but for now, I'm going to set him up on my shelf like this, and when it comes time to it, I'll figure it out and work with him in some way to be able to customize it to my likings. But overall, great figure. Nice job, Hasbro. I think it's great, and keep up the good work. But that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please, like always, leave that giant thumbs up, subscribe, tickle that bell so you're notified when we post future videos. Be sure to follow us on social media. We have some more classifieds coming this week, so be sure to tune in, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.